Welcome to the National Women's Fitness Academy podcast. We're here to talk about women's health, female hormones, body image, and all things health and fitness.
Hello, girls, and welcome to another episode of the Women's Fitness Academy's podcast. I'm your host, Siggy, one of the WFA's educators and a women's online coach. I cannot wait for you all to listen to today's episode. It is going to blow your freaking mind. I've got the pleasure of having Ella with me, who is an online mindset and fitness coach. Ella also helps with women overcome self-limiting beliefs, the perfectionist mindset, and self-sabotage to gain strength and confidence by getting strong as fuck. I'm probably not supposed to say that, but AF in the gym. Ellavate with Ella is all about building women up through education and knowledge from her own personal experiences, which I think is amazing. So Ella, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me, and I'm excited to chat more about that.
Yes, I'm super excited about chatting. Like before we started recording, Ella and I were just talking a little bit how we're both from Melbourne and how we've been transitioning our businesses from, face-to-face to more online coaching, and how we've noticed there's a transition also with the shift of our focus in the coaching space, that we're wanting to focus more on the mindset side of things for our clients. So Ella, do you mind, telling us how this shift has come about for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So since being in lockdown and transitioning all my clients to online and working towards their fitness goals, and most of the time they want to lose weight, gain muscle, gain strength, which is all the typical goals to have. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I find that because through such a difficult time, I started to see that it was more than just achieving those goals, but really working on their mindset to get to those goals. And because being in lockdown for such a long period of time, we didn't really have access to the gym or the situation, the circumstances were different. And it's like, how can we really face this adversity? And throughout coaching all of my clients, it's like a big part of it comes down to mindset and really seeing what they can just seeing how they can overcome the adversity. And it's just all comes down to their mind and how they think and how they view themselves. And I've noticed that once we've really touched into that mindset, then everything started to flow a lot easier and getting easier, and ultimately get to their goals.
I love that. The transition that I find through clients, probably the best transformation that I've found is through their mindset. And I truly believe that that's something that you inspire around with your clients as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it also comes from my personal experiences as well, and what I've been through for my whole fitness journey. And the women that I work with, I have also experienced what they were going through as well, the hardships, the struggles. And because, especially in society, we've just been bombarded with a lot of different, misinformation. We've been bombarded with wanting to look a particular way, and it goes a lot deeper than that. And through myself and working on my mindset and the person that I want to become, once I saw a shift in my mindset, everything else that I do outside just becomes a lot better. And I was going to say easier, but it just feels more right to the individual. So this is, you know, through my story and my transformation, I just want to, you know, really spread this message to my clients. And, you know, obviously through lots of education, through lots of guidance as well, they are starting to see this shift. And once they see this shift, it's just, one, they live a better quality of life, and it's just that the way they feel about themselves has shifted, and it's just a really wonderful thing to see.
So wonderful. Before we move forward, I really want to know your personal experience, if you don't mind sharing it with our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. So with my experience, I've always been into fitness most of my life. I got into weight training. So I'm really big on weight training. I got into weight training back in 2016, and, you know, I just wanted to, you know, I was doing weight training, but I was also doing cardio. And back 4 or 5 years ago, I had the goal of wanting to be skinny. I just wanted to be small. I just wanted to be shredded. And I guess that comes from seeing what was on social media, that back then I would see all these, you know, girls with abs showing, and that's what I thought fitness was all about. And that just sort of influenced me to chase that physique. And, you know, I wasn't educated and I didn't know any better, and I really burned myself out at the gym. And I've experienced all those things that led me to, you know, developing this poor relationship with myself, because I was never happy getting to such a low body fat percentage. And that's when I decided to get out there and educate myself, and just you know, understand why I'm feeling this way. Like, fitness doesn't have to be this way. So I went out to get myself educated. I've talked to a lot of people, and just over time, you know, when I was really working from within and understanding, you know, it's not about suffering, and it's not about being the skinniest, because that's really unhealthy, not just physically, but also mentally as well. So I've gone through I've gone through an eating disorder as well. I did do a fitness competition back in 2018, and I got to such a low body fat percentage that, which wasn't a healthy approach for the prep that I did. And I just rebounded, and I just developed, you know, this poor relationship with myself, with food, and yeah, just getting myself educated and really working on, you know, who I am as a person. And yeah, and I think it all comes down to working within myself, my mindset. And once I've sort of overcome, you know, my self-limiting beliefs, and I guess, you know, who I was as a person, things started to get a little bit better. And it's still a work in progress, and I'm still working on the journey of more self-love as well, because I was self-sabotaging myself. Yeah, so I think, like, gone through my experiences where I have developed a poor relationship with food, with myself, and learning how to overcome it. It took time, and through education, through the right guidance. I also went out to seek coaching, and everything just really helped me overcome this poor relationship with myself, especially. And now that I look back and think that a lot of women I know go through all of this, and for me to be able to overcome what most women go through, and overcome it, and now I feel good within myself. And I think that's so important, is to really have that healthy relationship with yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It's such an empowering feeling. And when you feel so empowered, it's like, so deep inside of me, I know that other women can feel the same. They're so capable of overcoming all of that. And for me as a coach, I just have so much belief in women and in what they're capable of. And it's just all having the right guidance, education, and all of that to help them see what their potential is, and to help them overcome that, and to be their own boss woman.
Yeah. Freaking love that. You know what? Like, your experience is so very similar to mine, and I'm sure our listeners listening right now, they're like, oh my God, that was me. I did that. I used to self-sabotage. I just wanted to be small. I think it's also like I'm not sure if it's a generational thing, but like back then, that's all that we saw in social media or like magazines. It was just like you being skinny, like, the Victoria's Secret models, or looking like a certain model, a certain actress, and they literally praised for you to be skinny. Like, what about that phase that we had with the thigh gaps? Oh
my God.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, my feed was just flooded with fitness models that were super shredded. And it, like, back in 4 or 5 years, in that sort of generation, it was just pictures. That was what Instagram was all about, was just pictures, and there wasn't really wholesome or educational content, which is what we're seeing now. And there is a shift, which I absolutely love. So back in that generation, it was 4 or 5 years ago, that's what we saw, and the thigh gap and the shredded abs, and all of that. And it really fed into the way I viewed fitness. And I thought that to be successful, or for people to like me, or for people to appreciate who I am, is that I needed to be like one of those fitness models. So, and I think with that being said, it's, it was more of an external validation, and it wasn't. And I when I think back, I wasn't educated. I was just influenced by these fitness models, but it wasn't true to who I am. And I was just trying to fit in, and I wasn't being who I was as a person. And with that, it's just so tiring to always want to fit in.
Yes.
I'm sure you could relate.
Oh, yeah, totally. And I'm so happy that you mentioned that, because we need to put this information out there a little bit more to make women realize that you don't need to fit in. Like, you don't necessarily have to look a certain way, act like someone just because they're doing it. They may be doing it because they love it, or they might even be doing it because they're acting and pretending to be someone completely different. And that's where it takes your authentic self away from you. If you're pretending to be someone that you're not, it's literally destroying your self-worth. Like, why pretend to be someone else when deep down inside you want to be yourself. You want to be quirky. You want to be funny. You want to crack jokes where you might be pretending to be very serious and demanding. And, it's tiring. It's really tiring to like pretend to be someone that you're not. And you know what? Like I can speak from that in experience. When I first started into the fitness industry, I had my business hat on when I would see clients and like prospects and sales. And then when I take that hat off, I'm a completely different person. Like people will be like, oh my God, you're so much fun. Like, why are you so serious when you're doing business? And that's literally what I thought I had to be successful, because back then, you had to grind, you had to work hard, otherwise if you're not working hard enough, you're not successful. Where now it's just like, you can do both. You can be the businesswoman and you can be the fun self at the same time and not try and take yourself so seriously.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that. And I can totally relate to everything that you've just said right now, especially in the coaching space. It is, it's so saturated. And especially in the last year, a lot of people have transitioned their business to online, and it's such a big space. And I also felt like that, where I put my business hat on, I saw what other people were doing, and I'm just being like completely transparent. Like I saw what other people were doing, and I thought that I had to follow that as well in order to be successful. But the more I did that, I asked myself, is this who I truly am? And being real with myself, it is so tiring. And I've switched this mindset where I'm going to be my true authentic self. People are going to relate much better with who you are, not the person they think you are, because it really shows on social media. People can tell if you're faking it, and people can tell if you're authentic. And, being authentic and being your true self, it's relatable. And just, in saying that, I just find that, especially this year, just being who you are, like you can be that boss woman and, still run a business. And like I said, it's just much, your audience can relate to you much better. And it's just who you are as a person. So I love that, Siggy. I love that.
I'm glad it resonates with you, because every time I speak more and more about this, people just come back and they're like, oh my God, that was me. I used to do that. I don't know about you, Ella, but like years ago, as I mentioned, like I used to pretend to be someone that I'm not. And my Instagram page used to be very masculine dominant. And I'm not saying being a masculine dominance is a bad thing, but if you're doing too much of it and not getting the balance of both sides, you burn out. You burn out so quickly, especially as a woman. You need to find that balance, whatever that looks like for you. But because I was so business focused and like dominant about, looking a specific way or putting content out in a specific way, it was very like harsh and like hard and like masculine, like do it now, don't give up, stop with the excuses, like all those like sayings I heard back then. When I look at my content, I'm like, wow, what a transition. Like, again, yes, we have excuses, but people have certain faculties in life right now that do stop them from doing certain things. So I think from my transition, my transformation about being a coach is I hold more compassion to people, where back then I was just like, just do it. If you're not doing it, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, that's so funny that you say that, because I was looking through my Instagram. This was years ago, and I started off as posting my fitness journey, and I would say all those things. It's like, no pain, no gain.
Yes.
You gotta grind it out. You've gotta put in hours of work, and like that was my messaging, before I transitioned to my messaging now. And in saying that, I love that. I love that you transition to having more compassion and just being more real. Yes, like, it is, there is a level of hard work to put into whatever you're working towards, whether that's your fitness goal, business goal, or whatever it is, or in life in general. It is finding that balance. And I love that's you're showing that to your audience, because this is the truth. It's like, it's not all hard work. Like, yes, that's important, but at the same time, having more compassion within oneself as well. Otherwise, the burnout is such a real thing, and that's what I experienced last year. And yeah, it's so nice to see. And especially, when you said you look back, that's sort of that masculine energy that you portrayed, to now it's, having that balance of, self-compassion. It's okay to rest. Rest is productive. And, I feel like when you've transitioned from that, like, you've grown yourself as well. And
100%.
the best thing is your audience sees that, and it's just relatable. And I think that is what is so big right now. And it's just to be relatable. And, and I love that. And that's sort of my transition from, my messaging now, and compared to last year or a couple of years back, it's being true to myself, being authentic. Because I look back then, and I used to post pictures of me, being in, makeup on, having all the right angles, showing the best lighting and all of that. And I'm on my stories, I'm on my feed, and I just post no makeup sometimes, just being my true self. So, and it's just feels so liberating, and people relate to that. And when you let go of, and for the audience that's listening, like, when you truly let go of attaching yourself to look a particular way, to try to fit in, like, you just let go and just be yourself, because there's no one going to be you. Like, you are you, and that's what makes it so special. And when you let go of that, one, you're not wasting energy trying to fit in, and two, everything just feels lighter.
Yeah.
And there's no better way than just having that freedom with your mind as well. It's like, so yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's so important, especially for, our listeners who are into fitness, or even like those who are wanting to become coaches right now. It's something to be mindful of, the content that you put out there. Like, you want to be putting content out there that you enjoy putting out there as well, but being more relatable to that clientele that you're wanting to attract. And you know what, like what Ella said, it's just being a little bit real with them too, not just putting all the fancy attire on, and like the makeup and the lighting. Like, that is all fun and well to do. Like, I love doing that stuff too. But sometimes you also just need to put yourself in your client's shoes and be like, oh, well, maybe they're having a bad, acne day, for instance. So maybe you want to put a selfie and be vulnerable and put it out there and let them know that, hey, it's okay to have a pimple on your face. You don't have to extract it, as soon as it comes. Like, it's natural. It happens within our bodies. And yeah, I think that's really a cool way to build other women around you, but also for those who follow you, because everything that we put out there is integrated into everyone's life. We don't know how it's going to impact them, and it's such a powerful thing. Because from my lens, I think it's just amazing how we have social media right now to be able to connect with a wider lens of women, to build them up properly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you say that, if for the listeners that are thinking of doing being a coach, and it's a wonderful thing. There is, and I do get some of my clients that are wanting to get into the coaching space because of what health and fitness has done for them mentally and physically, and they have that worry of the coaching space, there's too many of them, I don't know if I'll do well. And I have this, and I say to them, and for the listeners listening, there is room for everyone.
Amen.
There is so much abundance, and everyone deserves to, everyone is different, and your journey, you've got your own story, you've got your own journey that no one else lived through. So there's abundance of success for every woman, and that's how I encourage my clients and everyone that's listening, that there's room for everyone, and just come in with an abundant mentality. And when posting things on social media, it's like what you said is so right. And that's how I think of it, is put yourself in the shoe of your audience or the women that you want to help. And that's how I see it. And before I put, I like to share my story, which is really important because people want to know who you are as a person. And if you're relatable, sharing educational content is important as well. It's like you sort of, I ask myself, and I'm sure you do this as well, Ziggy, before you post any content, it's like, how is the content that I'm posting, how is that going to provide value to my audience or to the women? Who am I speaking to? So, and I think that's so important when in the coaching space. It's like, often I find that sometimes, people like to talk about themselves, which is nothing wrong with that. It's great to see their journey, but what value can you put out there that will help other women overcome their struggles, overcome their hurdles? So I think that's really, really important. And if you come into this coaching space with that mindset, you'll do so well. You'll do so well.
I totally agree with that. And you know what? We need to relate the fitness industry to, let's say, someone wanting to become a lawyer. You're not going to study for 4 or 5 years to become a lawyer and then go into the industry and be like, oh, no, there's too many lawyers. I'm just not going to do it. You never think that way because you have this passion of wanting to get into that industry. So it's the same within the health and the fitness industry. Yes, there's so many of us, but there's so many other opportunities to, put your feet into, like, whether it's nutrition, whether it's health, whether it's mindset, whether it's, strength based. Like, there's so many opportunities out there. And just like Ella said, there's an abundance of success for all of us. And that looks completely different to every person individually. And I think that's a beautiful thing for our listeners to really, I hope that's like one of the key points they take away from today. If they've been holding themselves back or having those self-doubt thoughts in their head, like, I can speak from experience, and, Ella, maybe you can relate to this as well. But sometimes when you start your business, you do have doubts in your head. You're like, oh my God, am I going to be successful? Is it going to pay off? This post, are people going to like it? Like, you just don't know until you put yourself out there. You literally don't know. And the one thing that holds women actually back from being successful is that fear of being judged. And that comes onto limiting beliefs.
Absolutely. And I agree with everything that you've said, that, like I said, there's an abundance of success. And, in the health and fitness space, it is so broad, and there's so many different areas in which you can head into. Like, there is strength, there is nutrition, working with women that are going through menopause, or you can reach so many different demographics. So it's just what you feel most passionate about, what you can bring to the fitness space to help women. And everyone's got their strengths, and really use that strength to your advantage. And for me, I like getting strong, and I like seeing women get strong. So that's sort of my area where I'm really passionate about. And and I agree with you. I feel that what's holding women back is just that fear or self-doubt. What if I'm in this coaching space now, and I posted consistently for a period of time. I'm not getting this engagement. I don't know if this is doing well. At the end of the day, you're putting content out there, and that's already a powerful thing. You're putting a message out there, and these things don't happen overnight. And just overcoming that fear, and just putting yourself out there, because even if you can make an impact, or one post that you posted, you never know who that post can really help. If you think of it that way, even if it's one girl or one woman that you've helped, or one woman will look at your post and be like, because I read that post, it's motivated me to go to the gym, it's motivated me to eat well. The little and we don't see that, because they're not going to tell you, oh, by the way, your post helped me do this. But these are the things that you're helping. So how I like to see it is, the post I put out there, and for the listeners listening, like the post you put out there, you're going to help one person. Whether if you think, even if you don't think you have helped one person, which is better than helping no one. But having that mindset, and at the end of the day, it's your passion. If you're passionate and you love what you do, and it's a purpose, you're putting content for a purpose, then that should be the main driver for you to keep going and keep pushing through. Because like Ziggy, I'm sure you've also had that period of, it's like, I don't know if that's going to work out. I don't know if I'll be able to, I don't know how long this will last. I don't know if this post will do well. I've certainly have had those at the start when I started my coaching program, my coaching service, sorry. And the more consistent you are, the more people you would reach. It's going to be so rewarding.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And that's something that people need to understand. It's not going to take you a week or two to, get that success. It's going to take you a while. It may take you a few months. It may take you a few years. Who knows? It might take you 10 years, hopefully not that long. But what we're trying to say is, you just need to be consistent with it, and you just need to start believing in yourself a little bit more regarding that. So that may look different to everyone. Ella and myself are very big around the mindset coaching side of things, as well as the health and fitness. So, it might be looking for a mentor to help you regarding that, really dissect like what's actually happening in your mind. Like, what are those limiting beliefs? Why are you self-sabotaging? What's holding you back from actually putting yourself out there? And this goes back to training as well. Like, this is a perfect example with training. When you step into the gym for the first time, you're not going to squat 100 kilos straight away. You probably might just start with, let's say, a goblet squat, or you might just start with a barbell. But over the weeks, over the months, over the years, you'll start building that confidence. You'll start feeling stronger. And ultimately after that, you'll start developing more self-confidence. And this is the exact pattern that you see when you're working on your mindset.
100%. I agree with everything that you say. And, that's how I view it as well. And I guess it's not just, working on, getting into the coaching space, it's the exact same with building a muscle, for example. You're not just going to get in there and, although if you could squat 100 within a shorter period of time, that's let me know who does that. I'd like to know, but it's a process, and it's not always about the end result. And it's really the process to get you moving forward in the right direction. And they are the ones that count. And the more you do it and overcome that initial stages of, lack of self-confidence, you're going to build it over time. And when you build it, it's going to get better. You are going to be your own motivation. So I love that, that you've used that analogy. It's the same as going to the gym and really working, building that confidence just from small improvements every single day. And when you said about the coach, seeking out for mentorship and coaching, I really think that that is such an important help and guidance to your fitness journey. Like myself, even though I'm a coach, I do have mentors that help me, guide me in the right direction. And another thing that I really want to put out there for our listeners, and I'm sure you could agree as well, Ziggy, is having a supportive community or a network, or how they say, surround yourself with the people that you want to be. It's so true, and I cannot really emphasize that more. It's so important, and especially if you are wanting to head into or start your coaching, get into the coaching space, it's just really be surrounded by people that are truly supportive of you. It truly does make a difference to get to help you with your whole journey.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned in terms of community. Like Ella and I didn't even meet till today. Like literally, this is but we connected over Instagram. So that's also like the wonderful thing of social media right now. You get to connect with other like-minded women, and who knows? Hopefully, in the future, Ella and I will meet. For a training session or a coffee. But it goes back to show that you can just put yourself out there. You might not be for everyone, and that's okay. You may not please 5 people, but you may please the other 10 that come along. So you just need to take everything slowly, productively, and start believing in yourself. What is one tip that has helped you, Ella, overcome your limiting belief?
One tip, that's a that's a good question. Oh, there's so many things going on in my mind. Which one?
Fill them out, girlfriend.
One tip that I would say that's helped me overcome my self-limiting beliefs is, I always think of it as I want to live a life where I have no regrets. And I feel that, if I don't go for something, then I look back and, have that sort of I should have mentality. I could have. And the thing is, it's easier said than done, but the self-talk is something that's so important. Words matter. And I say to myself, what could be worse? Like what could be the outcome? What possibly could go wrong if I just went for it?
Yeah.
If I went for it and I failed, it's a learning experience. But what if it didn't fail? You're winning either way. So I've come to it. Think of what would what would the outcome be if you just went for it? If it didn't go your way, then it's a learning experience. But if it did, then you've won. You've gone, you've moved forward in the right direction. So that's sort of my one tip, is just that.
Just go for it, literally.
Just go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? That ties in really nicely to what we spoke about before, about women being fearful of, what if it fails, or what if people don't like them, or, what if that post was just like no good to the other posts that they see on social media. And you know what? It's a learning curve. You're never going to fail. The only time that you're going to fail is actually not actually putting yourself out there. That is going to be the ultimate fail for you. And like Ella said, you don't want to be questioning yourself for the rest of your life, going, what if I did do that? What if I put myself out there? You don't want to have those what if moments. You want to have like, I did it. I put myself out there. It didn't work out. Or maybe it did work out and you're like, sitting back going and like reviewing everything and being like, oh my God, like this is awesome. And it builds that confidence as you move forward.
100% agree with that. And that's something that I've learned myself, is just punch fear in the face and just go for it. And for the listeners that's listening, it takes time, and the more you are able to face your self-doubt or fears, you build mental strength and you build resilience over time, and it just gets easier and easier. So it's positives. It's you just get better, and your decisions just gets easier over time.
I love that. You know what? Like we could actually be chatting about this forever. Seriously.
I feel like that as well.
Yeah, I do feel like it. But I reckon let's stop there, and then we'll hopefully do like a part 2 series for this one, because I reckon that will be a really cool conversation for us to continue moving along more towards like the fear and the self-sabotage. I reckon our listeners are gonna like that one. So before we go, Ella, where can our listeners find you?
You can find me on Instagram. So my IG handle is Ella, ELLA .U. That's 2 UUNG.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much for joining me. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed our chat.
Yeah, you too. I love it. So girls, if you enjoyed today's podcast, make sure that you share it, like it, screenshot it, tag us at the Women's Fitness Academy, tag myself, tag Ella, and then till next time, like Ella said, just punch fear in the face.
Love that.